Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going back into the Amazon tool deals and checking out some of the items that I've found for this week. These are either going to be items that are on sale, items that even at their full price or list price I believe to be good deals, or items I find interesting or would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. All of the items that we go over today will be linked down in the description for you guys if you guys are interested, as well as 2 additional links that will take you to a long list of tools that I've went over in the past. First up, we're looking at another Gearwrench product. If you guys watched last week's Amazon tool deals, I went over the wrench insert version of the bolt biter. I personally have just the standard socket design for the bolt biter, and then I also came across these, which I find interesting. I personally get the most use out of the just standard socket design, but I can understand depending on what you work on commonly, maybe areas that you work on commonly, where the wrench insert version may be better for you over the socket design, or if you work in like contract work, HVAC, electrical, anything like that, where you're constantly using a nut driver, maybe you deal with rounded or stripped fasteners, where something like this could be really handy. I use my impact driver all the time, and I feel like I could actually get some pretty decent use out of these. This is an 8-piece set. They also have a 16-piece set. The 16-piece set is $80 right now. The bolt biters aren't cheap, but having a bolt extractor set is always extremely handy. So if you don't have one and you're not looking at spending this much, even if you go out and buy a cheap one, it's better than having nothing. I like the bolt biter because it works in both directions, forward and reverse. It's impact rated. They have standard sizes and minus sizes. It comes in metric and SAE, so you can basically fit onto any fastener no matter how rounded off or corroded or rusted that fastener is. You have a very good possibility of having a fastener that actually fits it and bites it into it really well. So I've had really good experiences with the bolt biter stuff. I used to have an Irwin set, but it was a very limited set. I think it was a 5 or 6 piece set. So the bolt biter set that I have now has been a huge improvement over that, and I can definitely see getting some use out of these nut driver bolt extractors. This one has 4.6 stars at 51 ratings. This is the 8-piece set. That image quality is not great, so we'll just look at the little bit larger set. 1/4 inch minus, 1/4 inch, 7 minus, 7, 8 minus, and 5/16, 8 and 5/16, 3/8 minus. So you can see you got quite a decent variety there, up to 13 minus for this set. So just another one that I came across with. I don't personally have experience with this set. I have experience with the bolt biter in general, but not the nut drivers or the wrench inserts. But I think those are great additions just for those that may work in specific areas where they might get more use, or those might fit their needs a little bit better than just a standard socket of the bolt biter design. I just wanted to kind of show both. The price on this 8-piece set is $30 right now. You can see its prices in cart. It's hidden. Bolt biters, like I said earlier, can be quite expensive, but if you catch them on sale, you can definitely get some good deals on them. I don't think 30 is too bad for this. I think if it was mid 25s, it'd be a really good deal. But 30 isn't terrible at all for the coverage there, and definitely one to consider, or just a bolt extractor in general if you don't already have one. Next up, we are looking at a set from Astro Tools. This is their 19-piece 3/8 drive set of nano impact sockets, and these are going to be extremely shallow sockets. This is going to go from 6 millimeter to 24 millimeter with no skips. Impact rated. You can see at the base you have a hex design, so you can use this with a wrench, you can use it with a ratchet, you could use it with a tool like the pliers wrench, so you can work in extremely tight spaces. Comes on a nice little aluminum rail. Here you can see just its design sitting next to a shallow 24 millimeter. And I have a set from Capri, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that set, but the Astro set does include that hex base, which the Capri does not. So you could use a wrench on the backside of this, whereas with the set that I have, you can't. So that is a nice additional feature. This one is at $62, basically down from a list price of $72. So a little bit of savings there. Once again, this is the 3/8 drive set. They do have 1/2 inch, and I believe they might have a 1/4 inch drive set. I know for a fact they have a 1/2 inch drive set. But $61 for this size of set I don't think is a bad deal, but I do believe that they'll drop even lower than this on a fairly regular basis. This one has 4.9 stars at 475 ratings, and I do believe they have other size sets available as well. And I've mentioned that set a few times in the past, but I came across this, which I hadn't seen before. Maybe I just didn't, maybe I just glanced over it. This is a ratcheting long flex head wrench designed for their sockets, or the sockets that we just looked at. This is $32.78, down from a list price of $34.80, so a couple dollars savings there. Now keep in mind, this is not something that's necessary. You can use just a standard long double box end ratcheting wrench, or just any wrench that fits the socket. This is just something that you could put along with it. It's got the handle of like a ratchet instead of a wrench, so it may be a little bit more comfortable when applying a lot of torque. This one has 4.7 stars at 107 ratings. I don't think the price is too bad. It is just, got your standard ratcheting end of a wrench that goes to basically like a breaker bar handle, or a ratchet, flex head ratchet handle. So it is 18 inches long. Don't see anywhere that it says a tooth count. It's probably just a standard 72 tooth design. Came out in June of 2023, or that's the date it was first available here. It's got a lot of good reviews, but there was a review that stated, that I want to mention, that if you're considering picking this up, maybe you already have the Astro Tools Nano set that I showed you before, this tool is only going to work with the 3/8 drive Nano socket sets. The 1/2-inch drive does have a different size hex base, so keep that in mind. This is specifically for the 3/8 drive set that we looked at previously. So I figured I'd just throw this in. It's something I came across, thought it could be handy for some of those that are interested. Then last up isn't really a tool per se, but it's something that I own. I try to do a decent amount of camping, and this is something that I picked up last year, and I really enjoy it. So I had a Blackstone, and then I also picked up a new Camp Chef grill for camping, and I was blowing through the little green cans. Like, I'd have to keep 6 or 8 here in the garage, otherwise I could simply, use the attachments and go get a big propane tank. But a lot of the times I'm taking these little cookers out camping or to the beach, or that's what they're designed for, and carrying this more compact portable grill doesn't really make sense when I'm carrying around a huge propane tank with it. Now here from Ignik, this is the brand that I have. You can also get like the same things from Flame King, I think it's called. I'll show you that here in just a minute. And sometimes you can get better deals from them, so just if this is something you're interested in, make sure you look at Ignik and the Flame King. Their prices kind of alternate depending on what product you're looking at, but sometimes you can get a much better deal from one over the other. So this is $99 for the 3.8 pound propane tank and the carrying case. It comes with your adapter here, and this is the miniature version of what I have a 5 pound. So this is going to be quite a bit larger than your little green ones, but not as large as your 20 pound propane tank. This is much more manageable when going out or going on a trip or anything like that, and it's going to last a lot longer than the little green cans. So this one, I have a 5 pound. This is a 3.8 pound. I saw it as a bundle because I bought my 5 pound tank and my 5 pound carrying case separate, and I just saw this bundle and figured I'd mention it because these things are fantastic if you have any small grill but you don't want to continuously buy or carry around those little green cans, but you also don't want to carry around a big old 20 pound propane tank. These are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. This one is equal to 3.8 times almost 4 of the green cans. It's got your standard valve on it, 4-foot hose adapter. The case is really nice. The same case that I have. There you can kind of see the difference. And like I said, I have the 5 pound one, and I just went to a local U-Haul and had them fill it up. If I remember correctly, it was just over $4 to fill it up. So some of you may look at these small propane tanks and, you know, if you just get the propane tank, it's probably like $50. And, you know, some of you might say, I'm not spending $50 on a low propane tank, then I got to go fill it up. I'd rather just keep buying these little green ones. Well, I can promise you now, if you keep buying the green ones, you're easily going to spend this amount. And then it's just inconvenient if you're carrying around a big 20-pound one, and then you go and trade that in. What is that? That's still $35, $40. I can't remember for sure, but, you know, it's not cheap to go swap out your 20-pound one. This, you pay $50 for just the tank, and then it literally costs like $3 to $6 to fill it up. Very, very affordable. It'll pay itself off over continuously buying these little green ones or the inconvenience of a 20-pound tank. Now, if you're just chilling at home, then yeah, the 20-pound tank makes sense. But there you can see packed away in the bag. Then you can get it with either the black carrying case or the white and brown. Here you can see the Flame King one. This is just the 5-pound tank, so a little bit bigger than the one that we were looking at. When I say it was $4, just over $4 to fill this thing up at U-Haul. And all of these Flame King ones will show you a zoom in of the valve system there, because they're trying to show you, hey, this one has a gauge on it, because a lot of these smaller ones don't have a gauge. And a lot of people buy these because they want the one with a gauge. It's not a gauge. It's a complete trick. When I was doing my research, if you look very closely, it is a fake gauge. It just has a plastic ring that clamps around the neck. It's not actually connected to anything. And it even says this gauge shall not be used for filling the tank, basically. That's because it doesn't read anything. It's just for show. It almost got me, because the Flame King one was quite a bit more affordable than the Ignik tank that I was looking at. And I was like, I also want the gauge. And I almost bought this until I started reading reviews. I was like, oh, almost got me. There you can see the size comparisons. Then like here for $60, they have just the bag and the hose. And then now, that was back when I bought mine, there were no other knockoffs. Like, it was either Ignik or Flame King. Like, there was nothing else. Now they have a bunch of knockoffs. Even though it's not tool related, if any of you guys are into camping or grilling, I figured this is a nice little one, especially if you are on the go while grilling. These 3.8-pound tanks or the 5-pound tanks are absolutely fantastic, and I just wanted to mention it to you guys. So that's it as far as this week's Amazon tool deals. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, all of these items will be linked down in the description for you guys, along with those 2 additional links. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.